I'm working in the New Perspectives Microsoft 2010 textbook. I'm working in Tutorial 7, and I'm beginning session 7.3 on page AC 394. If you've been following this series, you know that I am not following the steps exactly as you see in the book. And as I go through and perform the steps, I try to explain why I'm doing them differently. So when we look at page AC 394, 395, and I switch my report over to Design View, you see that my report is still grouped. I'm going to take it out of the group, and then I'm going to perform the steps where we're going to add the items to the page header. Then I make sure that I have a line here and double line here, and then I will align my page. Before I remove the group from my report, I'm going to make a couple of modifications. I'm going to bring my page header down. I'm going to grab these items and I'm going to move them down. And I move them down as a group. So I grab them and I have to move them with the cursor or with my mouse because the cursor won't work. But if I grab them and bring them right straight down, you notice that they don't want to move left or right, they just want to move straight down. And that's what I want them to do. And now I'm ready to remove them from the group. So I'll select them and go to the Arrange tab and go to Remove Layout, and I've removed them from the layout. Now I'm going to add some controls. I'm going to start by going into Design. First thing I'm going to do is add a title. So I'm going to go to my database or Design. I'm going to go to Controls. I'm going to add a label, and I'm going to click up here, and it's going to be Invoices by Item. And this is going to be formatted for 14 and bold. So let's select it, go home, and 14 and bold. And I want to resize it. Sizing to fit, if I move my mouse pointer over any one of the sizing handles and double click, it will resize to fit. Resizing to fit doesn't leave enough space after the last letter, so when I render it for print, it will often cut off the last letter, so you grab it and give it an additional pull. I want it centered, and when I look, my report is 7.5. Half of 7.5 is 3.25. This would be 3.25 right here, so I want to move that sizing handle so it's right under. I don't mean 3.25, I mean 3.75. So I want the sizing handle right under here. That's going to put it pretty much in the middle. I'll go ahead and save that. Then I also want to add, go back to Design here. Now the next thing I'm going to do is, following the book, is I'm going to add a date. And I'm going to click Include Date. I want to make sure that Include Time is turned off. And I want the 226. I want this, the last format. Click OK. It's going to pop it in to the report header, and it's going to put it in a group. So I need to select it from Design. I'm going to click Arrange here, and I want to remove Layout. It's going to take it from the layout, and now I can grab it and shove it over to the the left-hand side of my page, and I'll put it right up against the border because we're going to align everything else here. And once I get it in there, then I want to also align it left, so it's starting to create a left margin for me. I'm going to get rid of the report header. There we go. And now the next thing I want to add is a page number. Fortunately, when I add the page number, it will add it to the page header, not to the report header. And we'll do right. And it pops it into the right hand side. And I'm going to resize it also. And make sure that it is all aligned right. Again, we're establishing those margins. It is aligned right. I'll save it again. Let's take a quick look. Go back to close print preview. And we're going to add a line that goes margin to margin. So I want one under here. Then I'm going to line all those controls. So I'm going to go controls, line, and I'm going to take a line and I'm going to go all the way across. If I'd held my shift key down, I'd get a straight line. Since I don't have a straight line, remember how we can fix that? The height is 0, so I do have a straight line. Let's take a look. And I want to make sure that I didn't go past this page margin and create any blank pages. So far so good. Save it again. And I want to take all of these and I'm going to arrange and sizing and ordering, and I'm going to line bottom. And I may have a little bit more space in here than I need. So I'm going to have to grab all these controls and I'm going to move them up. And as I move them up, you're going to see that they're probably going to shift a little bit to the left. And they did. See, these are up against the edge, so I'm going to take all of these again and basically move them right up against the edge. And then I'm going to grab these and move them basically right up against the edge. And so they are all still aligned. Just get them, move up to the edge. There we go. So when I look at them, I should have a margin. This one's a little bit off, and that's okay. We'll move it up as well. So I'll just click it and move it over to the margin. Now by moving them all over the same distance, they still align. And then I'll bring up my page. That gives me a little bit more space over here. And so I could make one of these controls wider, or I can create additional space between the controls. I think what I would like to do is create some additional space between the controls so they're not so close together. I'm going to grab them all and I'm going to give this a try. It may work, it may not. Let's go to Arrange, Size and Ordering, Space, and I want to do Increase Horizontal. I want to make sure I didn't go past the page margin. And I may have, that's okay, because we're going to work with this one now. Bring it in a little bit. Bring my page margin back in. And now I'm ready to center that. So I'll center these. This one will center, this will not. I'll have to manually center this control. And so to get it to center, I'm going to bring it down a little bit because it's not really going to center. You're just going to visually center that check mark beneath paid, and then I'm going to move it down just a little bit. I'll show you first why I'm going to move it down. Let's make sure we didn't create any blank pages. Nope. See how it's a little high? I got it centered, but it's a little higher than these. And so we'll go back in here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to get a hold of one of these corners, and that one doesn't want to do it, so I'll do it here, and then I'll move it down. Now let's take a look again. Now it's centered and aligned. Okay. The last thing that we're going to do to this report is we're going to add some lines above this and above here. Now you see that these are not aligned. That's okay. I'm going to go ahead and grab these controls, and I'm going to do Arrange, Sizing and Ordering, Align, Right. Now they're all aligned again. That's good. And so I'm going to add a line above this one. Controls, Line. So I have a line there, and now I'm going to just copy that line. Control C, come down here, do Control V, and so now I have two lines right there. And I'm going to take the top one and move it closer to the bottom one. Then grab those two and this, and you got it. I'm going to go to Arrange, Sizing and Ordering, Align, Right. And hopefully, let's go to the last page and see how our alignments look. Not too bad. Looks like we got it. I don't think I've missed any steps. Let's go back to the first page and added some space between those controls. Makes it easy to read. You see that my label is not aligning here. We'll take care of that. I'll come back, and all I have to do is grab that, and my numbers are aligned to the right, so I'm just going to take that control, and I'm also going to align it to the right. Now the problem why you see that it overlaps, the T, the MT, or even though the controls align, that label is aligning further to the right, is that the currency is set up so that it formats with space for parentheses if you were dealing with a negative number. So the parenthesis would be right in here, and then they would align. Because there is no parenthesis, we won't have negative amounts here. Anyhow, we hope that we're not refunding our customers money. We can come in here and we can grab this control. Again, this is fine-tuning, something you do at the end, and we shorten it just a little bit. So it's going to be just a little narrower, and then we'll take a look at it again. And now I got it to align, and I'll save again. While taking one last look at this report, I realized that I missed a step back on page AC 386, step 1. We need to set the options to keep the whole group together on one page. We currently have the option set to keep the header and first record together on one page. Changing these options is not going to hurt anything that we've done to our report. I'll go make sure I'm in Layout View, and I will show the group and sort. Make sure I'm on the group on, click More, change the option from Keep Header and First Record Together on one page to Keep Whole Group Together on one page. I'll go ahead and shut this off. Go to Print Preview and take a look and see how many pages I have now. I'm now up to 13, and the way we should see it is there will be some pages that are blank on the bottom, which means that this group, the group that follows, is too long to fit on the bottom of the prior page, so it starts its own page. With that, I'll go ahead and save my report one last time, and we finished our report.